Number 1 has to be where it all started. In the 70s, the clunkers laid claim to being the very first mountain bikes, raced by Charlie Kelly and the boys in Northern California down the furrows of Mount Tam, but really they were just converted road bikes. Joe Breeze made the very first purpose-built mountain bike, the Breezer. In the early 80s, mountain biking was just beginning to get a bit of a hold, and two companies launched the very first mass-produced mountain bikes, Univega and Specialized, both manufactured in Japan. The 1982 Specialized STUMPJUMPER was available for under $1,000 and sold in large numbers. Fat tyres were here to stay. The KONA CINDER cone, designed by Joe Murray. They had a radical new geometry, long and low, that gave them very good off-road performance. With the KONA Project 2 rigid fork up front, they became known as a design classic. The YETI C26, a very early carbon fibre bike that used steel and carbon bonded together, rather unsuccessfully as it didn't last very long. As ridden by one of the all-time legends, John Tomac. The suspension fork, Tioga disc drive rear wheel and drop bars certainly made it stand out when he rode it to 4th place in the downhill at the very first MTB World Champs in Colorado. The GT ZASKAR. Simple, but one of the best looking frames ever. Aluminium tubing with GT's triple triangle design that is still being made today. Ridden by such legends as Hans Ray, Mike King and Steve Peat. GT were a massive mountain biking brand in the 90s, after they diversified into mountain biking from BMX and had a legendary race team. Developed with the help of Marzocchi in the mid-90s when downhillers were embracing the full suspension technology. They were one of the very first mass-produced downhill bikes, so popular that other brands bought the frame and branded them as their own. Syntesi, Harrow, KONA, Saracen and Diamondback were just a few. The mountain cycle San Andreas. In the 90s, another full suspension bike coming from California pushed development forward. The San Andreas was revolutionary. Good rear suspension, disc brakes and inverted forks were all new. In the mid-90s, the GT LTS upped the ante again. Full suspension was now being embraced, especially for downhill, and the LTS had very plush rear travel. Who can forget the sight of the 10-time world downhill champion Nick Ovidio tucked in a skin suit beating the world on a trick-looking polished aluminium bike with red RockShox Duty downhills. This would later become the STS thermoplastic version. Arguably the greatest downhill bike ever. The suspension and geometry was brilliant and went on to win many World Cup downhills. The design was copied by many other manufacturers, a true sign of a classic bike. Here is Sean Palmer's 1996 World Champs Stars and Stripes bike. The Honda RN01 was shrouded in secrecy. HRC, Honda's racing and development branch, had engineers at every race, and no one was allowed to touch or ride the bikes other than the sponsored riders. The gearbox got rid of the rear mech and you could shift gear without pedalling as long as the rear wheel was spinning. Showa suspension rounded off the unobtainable machine. It really was a work of art. For more videos from GMBN, you can click up there for our top 10 best mountain bikers of all time, or click down there for our pro bike playlist, or just click on the retro bikes to subscribe to GMBN. Spree.